All metaphysicians recognize that certain words used persistently mold and transform conditions in mind, body, and affairs. The word love overcomes hate, resistance, opposition, obstinacy, anger, jealousy, and all states of consciousness where there is mental or physical friction. Hello everyone. So here we go with the final chapter from the book The Science of Being and Christian Healing by Charles FILLMORE. I'm not going to do the introduction again because I've said it 11 times already. And what I will say is that if you're tuning into this series for the first time, you should definitely carry on listening. These lessons, this is lesson 12 on love, are written in a way that helps the Christ mind develop inside you. And the affirmations that we will do together at the end are an amazing spiritual practice that really helps you realize the power of divine mind. And in fact, that's what they are called, affirmations for the realization of divine mind, or for the activation of Christ's mind. So here we go. Love. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called children of God, and such we are. This is my favourite chapter, by the way. And I'll say Happy Christmas now in case I forget later. He that abideth in love abideth in God, and God abideth in him. He that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him, and will manifest myself unto him. Love in divine mind is the idea of universal unity. In expression, love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it. Among the faculties of mind, love is pivotal. Its center of mentation in the body is the cardiac plexus. The physical representative of love is the heart, the office of which is to equalize the circulation of blood in the body. As the heart equalizes the life flow in the body, so love harmonizes the thoughts of mind. We have found that the 12 sons of Jacob represent the 12 faculties of mind. When Levi, or love, was brought forth by the human soul, Leah, his mother, said, "Now this time will my husband be joined unto me." We connect our soul forces with whatever we center our love upon. If we love the things of sense or materiality, we are joined or attached to them through a fixed law of being. In the divine order of being, the soul, or thinking part of man, is joined to its spiritual ego. If it allows itself to become joined to the outer or sense consciousness, it makes personal images that are limitations. The Lord commanded Moses to make all things according to the pattern that was showed him on the mount. This mount is the place of high understanding or spiritual consciousness, whose center of action is in the very apex of the brain. In the regeneration, our love goes through a transformation which broadens, strengthens, and deepens it. We no longer confine love to family, friends, and personal relations, but expand it to include all things. The denial of human relationships seems at first glance to be a repudiation of the family group, but it is merely a cleansing of the mind from limited ideas of love, when this faculty would satisfy itself wholly by means of human kinship. If God is the Father of all, then men and women are brothers and sisters in a universal family, and he who sees spiritually should open his heart and cultivate that inclusive love which God has given as the unifying element in the human family. Just to the extent that we separate ourselves into families, cliques, and religious factions, we put away God's love. Unless there is a specific denial along every line of human thought bondage, one will be under the law of sense. Direct affirmation of spiritual unity based upon obedience should be made by everyone who desires to realize this true relation. Jesus said, "Who is my mother, and who are my brethren?" And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, "Behold, my mother and my brethren, for whosoever shall do the will of my Father, who is in heaven, he is my brother, sister, and mother." Among the apostles of Jesus, John represents love. He laid his head on the Master's bosom. When this apostle is called, love is quickened in the consciousness. The calling of this apostle consists in bringing into one's consciousness a right understanding of the true character of love. Also, in exercising love in all the relations of life, one should make it a practice to meditate regularly on the love idea in universal mind with the prayer, "Divine love, manifest thyself in me." You've probably heard me say that a few times. Divine love, manifest thyself in me. Then there should be periods of mental concentration on the love center in the cardiac plexus near the heart. It is not necessary to know the exact location of this aggregation of love cells. Think about love with the attention drawn within the breast, and a quickening will follow. All the currents that go to make up love will be set into motion. This produces a positive love current which, when sent forth with power, will break up opposing thoughts of hate and render them null and void. The thought of hate will be dissolved, not only in the mind of the thinker, but in the minds of those with whom he comes in contact, in mind or in body. The love current is not a projection of the will. It is a setting free of a natural, equalizing, harmonizing force that in most persons has been dammed up by limitations. The ordinary man is not aware that he possesses this mighty power, which will turn away every shaft of hate that is aimed at him. We know that a soft answer turneth away wrath, but here is a faculty native to man, existent in every soul, which may be used at all times to bring about harmony and unity among those who have been disunited through misunderstandings, contentions, or selfishness. Henry Drummond says that Paul's 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians is the greatest love poem ever written. The spectrum of love. Love is a compound thing, Paul tells us. It is like light. As you may have seen a man of science take a beam of light and pass it through a crystal prism, as you may have seen it come out the other side of the prism broken up to its compound colours, so Paul passes this thing, love, through the magnificent prism of his inspired intellect, and it comes out the other side broken up into its element. And in these few words we have what one might call the spectrum of love, the analysis of love. Will you observe what its elements are? Will you notice that they have common names, that they are virtues which we hear about every day, that they are things that can be practiced by every man in every place in life, and how by a multitude of small things and ordinary virtue, the supreme thing, the summum bonum, is made up. The spectrum of love has 9 ingredients, according to Corinthians. Patience, love suffereth long. Kindness, and is kind. Generosity, love envieth not. Humility, love vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. Courtesy, does not behave itself unseemingly. Unselfishness, seeketh not her own. Good temper is not easily provoked. Guilelessness thinketh no evil. Sincerity rejoices not in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. Love is more than mere affection, and all our words protesting our love are not of value unless we have this inner current, which is real substance. Though we have the eloquence of men and of angels, and have not this deeper feeling, it profits us nothing. We should deny the mere conventional surface affection, and should set our mind on the very substance of God. Charity is not love. You may be kind-hearted and give to the poor and needy until you are impoverished, yet not acquire love. You may be a martyr to the cause of truth and consume your vitality in good works, yet be far from love. Love is a force that runs in the mind and body like molten gold in a furnace. It does not mix with the baser metals. It has no affinity for anything less than itself. Love is patient. It never gets weary or discouraged. Love is always kind and gentle. It does not envy. Jealousy has no place in its world. Love never becomes puffed up with human pride and does not brag about itself. It is love that makes the refinement of the natural gentleman or lady, although he or she may be ignorant of the world's standards of culture. Love does not seek its own. Its own comes to it without being sought. Jesus came proclaiming the spiritual interrelationship of the human family. His teaching was always of gentleness, non-resistance, love. I say unto you, love your enemies and pray for them that persecute you. To do this, one must be established in the consciousness of divine love, and there must be discipline of the mental nature to preserve such a high standard. The divine law is founded in the eternal unity of all things, and love, therefore, is the fulfillment of the law. Physical science has discovered that everything can be reduced to a few primal elements, and that if the universe would be destroyed, it could be built up again from a single cell. So this law of harmony, which has its origin in love, is established in the midst of every individual. I will put my law in their inward parts, and in their heart will I write it. But before this fixed inward principle can be brought to the surface, man must open the way by having faith in the power of love to accomplish all that Jesus claimed for it. When Jesus said, I have overcome the world, he meant that by the use of certain words, he had dissolved all the adverse states of consciousness in materiality, appetite, and selfishness. Christ is the Word, the Logos. Because the Word is the mind seed from which springs every condition, great stress is laid upon the power of the Word, both in the Scriptures and in metaphysical interpretations of the Scriptures. The Word is the most enduring thing in existence. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. All metaphysicians recognize that certain words used persistently mold and transform conditions in mind, body, and affairs. The word love overcomes hate, resistance, opposition, obstinacy, anger, jealousy, and all states of consciousness where there is mental or physical friction. Words make cells, and these cells are adjusted one to the other through associated ideas. When divine love enters into man's thought process, every cell is poised and balanced in space, in right mathematical order, as to the weight and relative distance. Law and order rule in the molecules of the body with the exactness that characterizes their action in the worlds of a planetary system. Divine love and human love should not be confounded, because one is as broad as the universe and is always governed by undeviating laws, while the other is fickle, selfish, and lawless. It was to this personal aspect of the love center in man that Jesus referred when he said, "Out of the heart of men evil thoughts proceed." But in the regeneration, all this is changed. The heart is cleansed and becomes the standards of right relation among all men. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. We cannot enter fully into Christ consciousness so long as we have a grudge against anyone. The mind is so constituted that a single thought of discordant character tinges the whole consciousness. I'll say that again. We cannot enter fully into the Christ consciousness so long as we have a grudge against anyone. The mind is so constituted that a single thought of a discordant character tinges the whole consciousness, just like a red sock in a white laundry wash. The whole lot turns pink. So we must cast out all evil and resisting thoughts before we can know the love of God in its fullness. If therefore thou art offering thy gift at the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Divine love in the heart establishes one in fearlessness and indomitable courage. God gave us not a spirit of fearfulness, but of power and love and discipline. The new heaven and the new earth that is now being established among men and nations the world over are based on love. The new heaven and the new earth that are now being established among men and nations the world over are based on love. When men understand each other, love increases. This is true not only among men, but between man and the animal world, and even between man and the vegetable world. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of God as the waters cover the sea. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. And every one that loveth is begotten of God, and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. Herein was the love of God manifested in us, that God hath sent his only begotten Son into the world, that we might live through him. Herein is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us, and sent his Son to be in the propitiation for our sins. Don't know that word. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another. Whosoever shall confess that Jesus is the Son of God, God abideth in him, and he in God. And we know and have believed the love which God hath in us. God is love, and he that abideth in love abideth in God, and God abideth in him. Herein is love made perfect with us, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, even so are we in this world. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath punishment, and he that feareth is not made perfect in love. We love because he first loved us. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen cannot love God whom he hath not seen. And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God love his brother also. Or in other words, love one and other. Because we're all reflections of each other as well. And there's only really one of us here at the end of the day. So we can't really stop loving others. So yeah, we will move into the affirmations for love demonstrated now, to realize the Christ mind within. So we'll take 3 deep breaths, and then I will leave a gap for you to say the statement back to yourself in your mind, or to say it out loud as you prefer. So inhaling in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. First one. And number 2. And number 3. God is love, and he that abideth in love abideth in God. I dwell consciously in the very presence of infinite love. God is love, and everyone that loves is born of God. I am born of love. Love is the fulfillment of the law. I love everybody and everything. Faith works by love. I have faith in the supreme power of love. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I am fearless, powerful, and wise in God's love. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called children of God. I love the Lord my God with all my heart, and with all my mind, and with all my soul, and with all my strength. But now abideth faith, hope, and love, these 3, and the greatest of these is love. And that was the last statement. So I really hope you enjoyed this chapter on love. It really is our magic power. Really, it really, really is. I can't highlight it enough. Our vibration is based on love. When our vibration is high in love and gratitude, we automatically raise the sacred secretion. We automatically feel clearer minded. We automatically feel tingles and sensations in our body. We automatically see the world changing around us and seeing resolutions in the things that, you know, have been a bit sticky or a bit disappointing to us. But we need to stay anchored in that love despite all the things that come to challenge us. And we need to really recognize that the things that do come to challenge us are just that. They are just lessons, and we needn't get attached to them. You know, we figure out what they are teaching us or what they are reminding us of from our past that needs to be dealt with, and we process and surrender that to the one amenable law of justice, which is God, and we let go. And we keep saying that we let go and that we surrender until it really resonates in all the planes of our being, until it becomes really sincerely true. And I know that it's hard sometimes, but if we want to see the results that we, you know, profess that we wish to see, then this is the way. God is the way, the truth, and the life. And so there really is no other way. We can work on the physical body all we like, and that's fantastic. But ultimately, our vibration and our thought is our connection to divine mind. And that is where we're really going to see shifts and see magic and see veils ripped open and see deceptions exposed. And I've been praying for this every day, for there to be huge exposures of corruption and the things that cause those, because light really can't take things out, but what it can do is expose the things that are happening so that then they can be processed and absolved. So join me in that prayer. I mean, we're on our way to the new heaven and the new earth anyway, because so many people are in this consciousness now, and it's spreading like wildfire, and it's absolutely beautiful and wonderful to watch and to be a part of. But we can quicken it still, and, you know, we can help others by loving them and by, you know, forgiving them, letting go of ourselves. Ourselves are ourselves. We let ourselves be really healthy and really vibrant by letting go of others, which means we're also letting go of the harness we've put on ourselves. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have an amazing Christmas period, whatever you're doing, whatever trials, tribulations and challenges you're in. I hope that you have the awareness to find the peace within, to be grateful and to be in love, no matter what. Just don't become attached to things that are just merely lessons. I love you all very much. Thanks for being with me, and see you in the new year, 2022. May divine love manifest itself in you always and in all ways. Peace and light.